From the Aishin Broadcast Studio, it's Wash Talk.
Welcome to the Professional Car Washing and Detailing's Wash Talk. I'm your host, Brian Ankney. Today our guest is Josh Bachner from Moleaer. How you doing, Josh?
I'm good. Nice to see you.
Yeah, you too. Thank you for coming in today.
Happy to be here.
Hey, I'd like to get started with a kind of a crazy question. What in the world is a nanobubble?
That is a great question. You are among the 99.9% of people in the world that have never heard of what a nanobubble probably is.
Yeah.
So a nanobubble is a bubble filled with any gas in any liquid that is about 100 nanometers in diameter. For perspective, that's about 2,500 times smaller than a grain of salt, or about 1/1000th the width of a human hair. At that size, bubbles behave differently. And what Moleaer does is we research the fundamental properties of these nanobubbles, how to produce them, and what they can be used for. So we try to turn the scientific innovation into solutions for different industries. And the nanobubbles can be used in pretty much any application where water is used.
I mean, that's pretty small. If we had just a bottle of water with nanobubbles in it, would we even be able to tell there are nanobubbles in there? No.
You cannot see a nanobubble with the naked eye. You have to use high-powered magnifying technology to basically look at nanoparticles. So again, they're invisible to the naked eye. You could be looking at two different glasses of water, one with nanobubbles, one without nanobubbles, and you could not tell the difference whatsoever.
Interesting. Well, let's talk about how they can benefit a car wash owner.
Sure.
Like by utilizing nanobubbles, what can that do for a car wash?
Yeah. So in order to help explain that, I'll take a slight step back, which is to say what can nanobubbles be used for in general. So
okay.
Nanobubble technology can be used to do a few things. Number one, inject gas more efficiently than any other technology that's on the market. And number two is you have specific properties that these nanobubbles can actually be utilized for. So they have a strong negative surface charge. They're neutrally buoyant, so they don't rise to the surface and pop. And so instead they remain suspended in water, almost like a form of chemistry themselves. But instead of being a chemical, it's just a gas nanoparticle. As a result, you can use nanobubbles in a car wash for a wide variety of benefits, but I'll break these primarily into two categories, one being reclaimed water and one being clean water. In reclaimed water, you can use nanobubbles to do four things. Number one, it's the most efficient gas injection technology that's out there. So if you wanted to use ozone as part of your solution to help clean and treat that water, ozone nanobubbles will be the most efficient way to get that ozone into the water. The second is reducing odors. If you're trying to elevate your dissolved oxygen in those reclaimed tanks, nanobubbles, again, are used to increase oxygen levels in bodies of water all over the world. It's a great technology to help reduce odors. You can also use them to help advance separations processes. So the nanobubbles, because of their charge and their stability, enable you to remove some of the suspended solids from that reclaimed water and then separate that out much more efficiently. And lastly, the nanobubbles help to improve water clarity. So you can actually help through that separations process. You're going to see much cleaner water by using nanobubbles as part of that reclaim process. On the clean water side, nanobubbles are used to help actually clean dirt off of surfaces. So you can use the nanobubbles to both further enhance the cleaning, which might enable you to reduce your chemical usage, and also help water run off the car faster.
Interesting. So you'd said it increases the clarity of the water. Is that because there are less solids suspended in the water, or is that because that just having nanobubbles in there makes it clearer?
The former. So the nanobubbles will help to remove and separate out suspended solids, whether they drop them to the bottom or float them to the surface, where they can be more easily removed, whether it's through a skimmer or any other technology. But what we see across applications ranging from golf course ponds to large lakes is when you have those nanobubbles present, the actual water clarity improves dramatically.
And I do want to talk about golf course ponds, and I do want to talk about other applications. But I have one more question from your last answer. You said that it helps to clean the car better. Like, how does that work?
So if you think about what a nanobubble is a very stable gas nanoparticle. And we're talking about concentrations that are in the millions to hundreds of millions of these nanobubbles per milliliter of water. It's an enormously high concentration. So think of nanobubbles as billiard balls. If they're in flowing water, these nanobubbles act as hard particles, like a billiard ball, would help knock, whether it's biofilm off of the surface of a pipe to help remove and prevent buildup, or when it's actually being sprayed on a car, it can be used to help remove dirt more efficiently.
Interesting. So it's almost like that commercial of the scrubbing bubbles
That's
that
exactly
used to be on television that are running around cleaning stuff.
That's exactly right. And so we use that in a variety of applications, whether it's biofilm removal in irrigation lines, which is a huge issue, especially with the transformation into drip irrigation systems, to food processing plants where you want to help try to prevent biofilm from accumulating on the surfaces of the pipes in the processing plants, to a car wash.
In the car wash, it's helping to, I guess, to reduce odors on reclaimed water. Mm-hmm. It's helping to clarify the water by getting rid of the solids that are suspended in it. It's also, when it comes out and hits the car, it's helping to clean the car better. And you did say that it helps to reduce the amount of chemicals you need to use, right?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. So I know that you mentioned some other industries that you're in. Can you dive a little more into that?
Sure.
So I know you guys are kind of, you're in use around the world in lots of ways. Can you kind of share a little bit about that?
Yeah. So one way to think about Moleaer is, we lead and we bring nanobubble technology to the world. What we try to do is we try to turn scientific innovation into solutions. Mm-hmm. And what that enables us to do is find solutions where nanobubbles participate in chemical, biological, and physical processes. The company has been focused for the last several years primarily on water-specific applications. And within water-specific applications, we've gone very deep in irrigation water, which uses about 70% of the world's fresh water, which will make sense to be there. Aquaculture, wastewater treatment, drinking water, lakes, ponds, rivers, natural water bodies. We do some work in oil and gas, mining. We're now in pools and spas. So really anything that uses water, there is a benefit for nanobubbles. And nanobubbles is really a new scientific field that's rapidly expanding because it's a very exciting technology where you get a lot of the benefits that used to only be achievable through the use of chemicals with these nano-sized gas particles.
Wow.
Presented from the Aishin Broadcast Studio at Babcock's Media.
Now, I know you have some car washes that are currently using nanobubbles. Mm-hmm. What kind of feedback are you getting from those car washes?
The biggest one and the reason that we've been approached is primarily around reducing odors and improving water clarity. And so that's what we're working on. We're really focused on that. We've also worked with a few partners specifically to look at the speed at which water can run off the car, and both groups have been very, very excited by what they've seen.
Yeah, that sounds pretty exciting. I mean, it sounds like you can use less water, you can use less chemicals, you can use less drying agent. The water's going to smell better, the water's going to look better. I mean, it sounds like it's an incredibly environmentally friendly approach to washing cars. You can use less of all the bad things. And not to mention, I mean, those are all those things cost a lot of money.
That's the idea. And so we're excited to introduce this technology to the car wash industry. We see so many similarities from other industries and applications that already have, 3,000 of our nanobubble generators are deployed around the world. We see the car wash industry as absolutely ripe to take advantage of this very new technology to hit all of those different benefits that you just highlighted. Mm-hmm. We see a car wash very similar to the way that we work with wastewater treatment plants around the world, because ultimately a car wash is trying to reuse as much water as possible. Mm-hmm. A wastewater treatment plant is trying to treat that water, and so we see car washes as a very high concentration of wastewater treatment plants that can benefit from this technology, just the way that whether it's an industrial wastewater treatment plant or a municipal wastewater treatment plant is already adopting this technology, we want to bring the same thing to the car wash industry.
Neat. Well, how does that work? Like, I mean, if I'm a car wash owner and I've got my wash, everything's operating, and I see this podcast and I'm like, boy, that sounds cool. I mean, is this something where I have to get all new equipment? Is this something where I got to dig up my part of my lot and put something in? Like how big is the equipment? What does it look like? Like how long does it take to install? Like, how does it all work?
It's a great question. So we offer the technology in like a good, better, best kind of a approach. Mm-hmm. So we can have something where you literally just take out one piece of your pipe. If you have an existing reclaim system and you want to add nanobubbles to that reclaim system, it could be as easy as cutting a piece of your PVC where we can install the nanobubble generator in line with your existing infrastructure, in which case you're really only talking about something that's about this big. If you're looking for a full system that actually includes its own pump, we have our smallest units are about this big. And then if you want sort of our better and best models where it comes with its own oxygen generator or ozone generator, then we're talking about a system that's probably about the size of this desk.
Wow. Now, is that something that goes in the back room? Does it go outside? Can it go either place?
It can go either place. Generally speaking, we would recommend that it go in the back room just so that it's protected from weather. But as long as it is not going to necessarily be exposed to rain, we have systems that are outside all over the world.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Wow. That's interesting. So I mean, you're talking about something that's like the size of a bread box up to something like the size, not even the size of a riding lawnmower. I mean, like it's not a huge footprint inside the back room.
No, it's not. It's it's very comparable to a lot of the existing reclaim systems. So this could be either installed directly downstream. To your question before about like, do you need to necessarily dig anything up? Not necessarily. You could either install it downstream of an existing reclaim system as an enhancement, or you can replace a piece of your circulation that's already going to your reclaim system with this. And if you don't necessarily have that, then yes, you could actually install our system with the pump to make sure that you're getting the circulation that you'd like. And of course, if it's a new build, we could certainly help to co-design how best to get the benefits of these nanobubbles as part of your process.
Wow. And so, I mean, as far as, it doesn't sound like it's a lot of time. I mean, it sounds like we're talking about an hour or two to put one of these things in, not a week. Like
No.
This is something you close down for the evening and next morning it's running.
That's correct.
Wow. I mean, are these? I mean, you mentioned that for the car wash space, it's kind of a newer technology. Are these things available, or is this something that you have to order 6 months in advance? Like
Not 6 months in advance, depending on what the product is. We're usually looking at about a month to 2 month lead time.
You mentioned some of the other industries that are using nanobubbles right now, and all over the world. I mean, the most exciting one, really. I mean, I'm thinking about these huge wastewater treatment plants. I mean, that's a huge application. What made car washes attractive to you, and like what other industries do you see yourself getting into?
Yeah. So when I think about what nanobubbles can do, nanobubbles specifically improve gas transfer, and we can use nanobubbles to participate in different chemical and biological and physical processes. In every application, there are different values of that technology that provide tremendous benefit to one industry versus another. So for instance, in irrigation water, the benefits are to get oxygen into the water for the plants, so you get healthier roots, healthier plants. In addition to that, the nanobubbles help to scrape biofilm off of the irrigation pumping. When I think about the car wash industry, there are so many similarities to all of the different industries that we work in, where getting oxygen levels in reclaim tanks is really challenging. There's a lot of biology in those tanks. There's the opportunity for those tanks to go anaerobic. This technology was literally developed to prevent that exact scenario from taking place. So when I think initially about some of the challenges that I've heard from the industry about odors, for instance, in your reclaim tanks, this technology was designed initially with that very specific problem designed to solve. In addition to that, as we've been learning more about the car wash industry, there are so many additional benefits that this chemical-free approach can offer, that it enables the car washes to either use less water, less chemicals, get a cleaner finish, that it's just a very attractive opportunity for us, as well as what we think for the industry to basically have a more cost-effective treatment solution to both reduce water footprint, chemical footprint, and ultimately have cleaner, shinier cars.
That sounds wonderful. I mean, yeah, use less, get more. If people want to learn more about using nanobubbles in their car wash, how can they get in touch with you?
Yeah, so first you can go to moleaer.com, moleaer.com,
Yep.
Or send us an email at carwash@moleaer.com, and we'll connect to learn a little bit more about your facility, what your interests are, your pain points. And one thing about Moleaer is we always try to make sure that we are not necessarily just going to throw a piece of equipment out there and say good luck. We want to make sure that we're going to set our partners up for success. This is a new technology, and Moleaer is the world leader in understanding how to utilize that technology for very specific applications, and so we are always trying to be collaborative with our partners to make sure that they get the best results with our technology.
Awesome. Well, Josh, is there anything more you'd like to share with our audience today?
I think we covered quite a bit, so thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you for coming in today.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for taking the time to join us for this professional car washing and detailing's Wash Talk. I'm your host, Brian Ankney. Today our guest has been Josh Bachner from Moleaer. We hope to see you again on a future episode.